What's going on, nation, and welcome to Ask Scott and Sean, episode 12. Now, we have 3 more questions for you guys. If you'd like to ask us a question, send us an email to questions@scotthermanfitness.com. So, the first question was sent in by Sean Bennett, and he asks, I read that black cherries help cure DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle soreness, faster. Is this true? And are there any other ways? So this was a new question to me. Was it a new question to you, black cherries?
Yeah, I really never looked into the black cherry thing before.
Yeah, so I've never really looked into it either, but we found some interesting stuff, and I wrote together a nice paragraph for you guys. I'm going to read for you right now on my laptop. So, after doing some extensive research, I had concluded that you can actually go to like GNC and Vitamin Shop, and you can buy black cherry extracts, like pills and such things like that. So there are black cherry fruit extracts available in various vitamin shops and GNCs. The basis for which is that they contain astringent properties, which that basically means they help with reducing inflammation. One of those being anthocyanins. You can find anthocyanins in foods such as black cherries, blueberries, and black rice. And it's basically foods that have a dark pigmentation to them.
Cabbage. There's a bunch of different foods, I believe.
Yeah. It's They went into saying that, the fruits that have a dark pigment, like the black cherry, obviously being one of them, if it's dark, it contains these astringent properties.
Yeah, purplish reddish.
Yeah, purplish reddish is what the blueberries too. So what they do is they work to help speed the flow of oxygen through the bloodstream, which helps to reduce inflammation in the muscles, thus reducing muscle soreness associated with a workout and also boosting muscle recovery. And there was also a fun fact that we had found, and it's that wild black cherries are native to North America and were extensively used by Native Americans for their supportive properties. The fruit was eaten fresh or used when cooking. So the Native Americans knew what was going on with these black cherries, and they just used to, sit down and have a powwow and smoke them and eat them.
You're not gonna believe this.
Sean's Native American. And his dad told him.
That too, I'm a little Native American. But you're not going to believe what I found. And they used to use the bark and the cherry trees, the big trees or whatever, the inner bark and the outer bark and stuff. And they actually used it in their butt, in and on their butt. I didn't tell you this earlier. But
Yeah,
they used
that didn't come up in a conversation earlier.
They used it for like, what do they call it, hemorrhoids and diarrhea and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, they used the bark. And they would put it on cuts and stuff and to stop the bleeding. And they used it for all kinds of stuff. They used the bark for all kinds of stuff.
That kind of reminds me of the Zango juice.
Zango juice?
Zango, the mango from Thailand. And they call it Zango juice. It's one of these things I used to sell when I was like 18. It's like the same as like Monave. And they would do the same thing. And basically, it contained antioxidants and it helps eliminate free radicals, which are cells in your body that are missing electrons and else crap. But anyways, they would take this mango fruit and make it into a juice, and they'd rub that onto like cuts and bruises and stuff. Yeah. And it had healing properties.
Yeah, I think the acai is like a purpley color, so maybe that has some of these properties in it too, with the antioxidants and the anti-inflammatory. Also, it was used like a mild sedative too. The bark and stuff like that. They use it as a mild sedative for when they had stomach aches and to go along with all that stuff as well.
Well, so with that being said, if any of you guys have actually had any experience with the wild black cherries, do some comments in the comment section below, or if you plan on experimenting with them, come back to us after you've, had a lot of black cherries throughout the week and let us know how you feel, basically.
Don't take too much. It can be deadly.
Yeah, we also read, that's a good point.
Because it has some cyanide-like properties to it, so if you're taking anything like this, always do your research on it first, and don't think because things are natural that you can't overdose, you can't die from taking too much.
You can die from drinking too much water, that's as natural as it gets.
Yeah, you can. It's happened.
It happened on the Howard Stern show.
Yeah. It wasn't Howard Stern, was it?
Yeah.
Anyways, other ways that you can cure DOMS. One one really basic thing that we always stress to people is that you can stretch, and stretching during your warm up before your exercise is just as important as stretching afterwards. That's going to help your healing process. That's going to help break up some of the lactate in your muscles, potentially some of the uric acid as well.
What you're doing is it's like taking a face cloth and wringing out all the water. When you stretch, you're pushing all the blood out, and then new blood comes in when you release the stretch. So
you can drink water. Water may help flush the system a little bit more. May help get any types of toxins out of your system that might potentially cause any type of damage to your muscles as well. Because that's basically what you're doing. When you're trying to get rid of DOMS, you're trying to get rid of toxins and anything that's released during your workout, because there's a lot of things that are released through the blood as you start to work and pump the muscles.
Yeah, so here's some quick tips for you. Yes on wild black cherries. Don't OD on them because it's not good for you. If you're going to try it, be careful. And then stretching, drinking water, there are other ways that you can.
It's not injectable, so don't even think about it.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next question. And thank you, Sean, for asking. That was pretty cool. We like to research stuff, so it's cool when you guys send us questions we have no idea the answer to. Which for Sean is pretty much all of them. He said it takes a long time in front of the computer.
No, I sit and I study books.
Yeah. The next question is from Danielle Blake. Hi, Scott. I worked out for about 1.5 years, but then stopped for 6 months. You and the community have gotten me back into the gym, but I struggled to do half as much as I could before. I was wondering if it would take another 1.5 years to get back to where I was. Thanks.
Great question. It's a good question because it's a very common thought I think that people have.
There you go.
Right out of the camera.
Sean likes to trail off the camera.
Hey. Yeah, so a lot of people, they wonder the same thing, and people get off. They get off track of their workouts. It happens to almost everyone at some point in their life, and it drives people crazy. They're like, oh great, now I lost everything.
Yeah, and there is some truth to it. And a lot of clients would ask me this question when I would train people, and they'd say, what if I'm gone for a couple weeks and I come back? All of a sudden now I can't lift the same weight. What happens is there's all this crazy stuff that goes on in your body every day. One of them being there's energy sent through nerves that connect to your muscles called the neuromuscular junction, and that's where the energy is getting sent to the muscle fibers. Now you'll want to you notice some people could be the same exact size. You can have one guy who's like 170 pounds, another guy who's 170 pounds, same height, same weight, whatever. But if the guy over on the left has been working out nonstop and constantly pushing his body, the nerves connecting to his muscles are a bit wider, and the bigger they get, the more energy that can be supplied to that muscle, so the muscle becomes stronger. If you stopped working out for, say, a couple weeks, those nerves don't shrink, they shrivel. And the difference is if they were to shrink, you'd have to regrow them. But if they shrivel, once you start working out again, that's the muscle memory. They just re-expand, and then you get that strength back, which is why you'll notice if you go back to the gym after a couple of weeks, you got as strong as you were, but it took 1.5 years to get there. So if this person took them 1.5 years to get to a certain point, when they go back to the gym, it'll take maybe a couple weeks or a month, and it'll pretty much be back to where they were. Unless you gain 40 pounds of fat, and you got to lose it first. But
yeah, I guess it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
But from my own personal experience, I love muscle memory. It's a real thing. Your muscles do have some type of memory, and your body has some type of memory. If you talk to people around you who work out, or guys who have been working out a long time, what I found, and as you get older, sometimes it becomes easier as far as the muscle memory goes. Like you might take a couple months off, but you had awesome results for the past year, 2 years, whatever, and then after taking those 2 months off, you lose some of those results, but then you get back to it, and you get right back to where you were within, say, a month or so, if you're training hard. So it depends on how hard you're training. It depends on how much you let yourself go, how fat you get, or how how little you've been eating, how catabolic you let your body get. But yeah, there's definitely muscle memory. It comes back quicker.
Yeah, and I guess the best thing to say to end this question would be, yes, if you aren't in the gym for a while and you come back, you can get back to where you were. But, if you left the gym and then you had horrible eating habits and you gained some weight and you haven't been stretching and haven't been doing all these things, don't jump back into it super hardcore, because you will probably hurt yourself. You'll probably pull something. someone like me or Sean, if we don't work out for 2 weeks because for whatever reason we were traveling and got crazy, although we'd still want to be careful when we came back to the gym, I could, attack the weights a lot harder than someone who just went completely off track and had horrible eating and, workout habits for those 2 weeks. So gauge yourself, don't overdo it, but yes, it won't take you a year and a half to get those results back. So thank you, Danielle. That was an amazing question. And now the third and final question, and Sean's left arm is back on camera. I got a mirror behind. We have mirrors for the studio we're setting up here, so I can. If you see me looking past, I'm looking in the back of the camera to see the screen, and I keep seeing Sean just trail up. It's funny.
Just kidding. There's a whole production team right here.
Yeah, right.
So people think we have like a huge production crew or something.
I wish. All right, Drew Fenton. Since I want results fast in terms of muscle mass, I've been doing at least 6 exercises for 3 sets. That's 18 sets. 6 times 3.
For each muscle.
For each muscle.
So he's doing the same amount of sets per each muscle. 18
sets for chest, for shoulders, for biceps, for triceps, for quads, for hams.
Yeah. So the question I have for Drew is what...
Whoa, we didn't finish.
All right.
But I have been hearing that you should only be doing 4 to 5 exercises per body part a day. Is doing too many exercises overtraining. Like I said, he's going for muscle mass. So if you're doing total body routines to lose fat, this doesn't really apply to you. This is more muscle mass stuff.
So 4 to 5 exercises, but not saying how many sets, or staying within 3 sets still?
4 to 5 exercises per body. I'm assuming he's still doing 3 sets.
Yeah, so either way, it's doing 1 set number of sets per each body part, no matter...
No. Yeah, sorry.
No matter what body part it is. Obviously, my bicep isn't the same size as my quad, as my lat.
My bicep is the same size as Sean's quad.
Yeah, right. And so, the thing you also want to keep in mind when asking these types of questions is what your goal is. Are you going for more of a bodybuilder thing? Are you going for just strict health, or are you going for aesthetics and look? Do you not care about your health? Are you going for powerlifting? Are you going cross training? What is your main goal in these types of questions? So when you guys ask these questions, make sure you let us know what your goal is, what your specific goal is, because that matters as well.
Well, he said his main goal is to build muscle mass, and there's always going to be varying opinions to answer a question like this. So our opinion might still differ from another bodybuilder's opinion. What I like to do is kind of around the same thing. I'll do 4, maybe 5 exercises. I might do 3 super heavy exercises, then the 4th one more of a light set, and then a 5th one I might just burn out for a pump, just because I want to get the pump and the blood flow going. That's because what my body's telling me to do. It's how I feel. Like yesterday, I did a back workout yesterday, but I only did 3 exercises, and I was out of there. And I did 4 sets per exercise. I did lat pull downs, reverse lat pull downs, and then I did a super leaned over, a bent over row with the straight bar. And with the bent over row with the straight bar, it was actually pretty much all light sets. With me, I was doing sets of 10, where the other 2 exercises I was doing 6 to 8 reps and just increasing the weight. So you gotta feel your body out, but I'm not gonna go to the gym and do 18 sets for my shoulders. You can only hit your shoulders so much,
Yeah, and some people would even disagree with that. It's all debatable, really, because you can get people who are on hardcore supplements, whatever type of hardcore supplements they're on.
Yeah.
That can get away. Their recovery is going to be a lot better, depending on what type of supplements they're on. It depends a lot. If you want to gain mass, obviously you want to gain. It's all nutrition and diet. That makes a huge difference. Although I'm not going to say that you can't get away with not eating too much, because some people have good genetics and they can get away with eating twice a day and still getting a little bit of muscle mass through the weeks. But to answer his question, I personally believe that
let's give them like a baseline that they can then work from and see how the body reacts. So
I just want to add, I think the key is always what I stress to anyone trying to gain any type of extra muscle fiber, because muscle fiber comes from extra stimulation, and those muscle fibers, whether they be just stagnant muscle fiber, satellite muscle fiber, whatever muscle fiber that's not already working or that is already working, you have to get some type of stimulation and reaction. You can do that through doing the same sets per body part. You can also do it doing what you just said. So doing like a more bodybuilding type routine where you're focused on doing, say, more sets per back, but you're doing maybe not as many sets per bicep. But I personally think you can also add in, add in a body weight type routine where you push those reps, so high volume, you push those reps to the point where you reach fatigue and you get extra muscle fiber stimulation. So I think the key is to not be afraid of any one type of training. Although the high or the low volume, high weight training definitely tends to be popular as far as gaining just solid muscle mass.
Yeah. Another thing that I tried this week that gave me actually a crazy pump, and I did it during my chest workout on Monday and my back workout yesterday. Today's Wednesday, if you're wondering. If you're watching, when you're watching this video. So I was doing I did the maximum chest calling our recruits routine. And one thing I added is in between every single set, I was doing just some body weight squats, going up and down. And I was getting the blood flowing, and I felt like I was helping the oxygen travel quicker to my muscles, going in and out of the area. I was getting in and out of the chest. And I kept going over to the mirror after doing my sets, and I kept increasing the weights on my stacks, my flies, going over to the mirror, and I was going like this, and my chest seemed like it was just kind of rolling bigger and bigger and bigger. So everyone's body's different. I've never really done anything like that before. Usually when I do my sets, this was my mentality always was, okay, I need to rest because I just did my set. Now I'm starting to think, well, why do I have to just completely rest? Why can't I just, work another muscle to stretch, help increase the blood flow? If blood flowing means more oxygen and nutrients are going to my muscles, and my muscles need those to lift heavier and be strong, so wouldn't it make sense to help, do something to get the blood flowing before my next set so I have more power? So
increase the metabolism once you keep the heart rate up, just like that too. So your blood is going to be going fast. You're going to burn a lot of calories that way. Get a good sweat on.
Can always learn. So, thank you, Drew. Hope that helped answer your question. And that's going to be the end of Ask Scott and Sean, episode 12. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you'd like to ask us a question, send your question to questions@scotthermanfitness.com. You doing the robot?
No.
We'll see you guys later.